Yeah, I mean, really proud of our team. First off, give a lot of credit to UCLA. I mean, I had a ton of respect for Coach Cronin going all the way back to when I was a high school coach and played against him twice now. His teams are always tough, well prepared, hard nosed. They were that tonight. We weren't good enough to beat them tonight. They were better. They hit some tough shots. Give a lot of credit to their players too. I mean, Jaquez and Bernard were great. I thought Campbell was good. They stepped the line, made their free throws, and got stops when they needed to. They could have definitely, that we had all the momentum going into overtime. They could have folded. They didn't. They came out, kind of punched us in the mouth to start overtime. And give a lot of credit to UCLA. As far as our guys go, I say it's a historic season. I don't want them to walk out of this locker room with their heads down. You can make the argument one of the best, if not the best, Alabama basketball teams in history. I mean, won the SEC regular season, the tournament. There's all kinds of records that were taking place. These seniors, you think about Petty, Reese, Herb Jones, what they've meant to the program. They didn't have to stick around and be coached by a guy that didn't recruit them. They didn't have to buy into everything we were trying to sell. They did. Tyler Barnes, a walk-on. He's one of the best kids I've ever met. I love him. He was huge for the culture of this program. He had in a kid like Jordan Bruner, who turned down a lot of really good basketball programs to come try to change Alabama basketball, and he did that. He helped our culture a lot. So you talk about those 5 seniors, and couldn't be happier for those guys for what we were able to do their senior year. And the guys that are underclassmen and be back, let's not forget this feeling. We were a lot better team than this, and you got to be great every night in March, or it's a one-game elimination tournament. The best team doesn't always win. The team that plays best that night wins, but it's not always the best team. So really happy with the season, really proud of the guys, really disappointed with tonight.
Coach, congratulations on that great season, and again, appreciate your time here. Now we'll go to questions from the media. Our first question is from Cecil Hurt with the Tuscaloosa News. Cecil, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Coach, slow start to the game, slow start to the overtime. Anything that you noticed that caused that, and how were y'all able to overcome it in the game, and then couldn't do it in the overtime?
That's a good question. The slow start to the game, I don't know. I mean, we actually, we were in the game for a while. I thought it was the close to the first half that really hurt. Am I good? Everybody, is there more to the question? Okay.
Sorry, Coach. Yeah, please continue. I think that was the background noise on my side.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't think the start to the game was off. It wasn't our best, obviously, but it was a little slow. But we were able to. It was a pretty tight first half. I thought the close of the first half was awful. I think they ended the first half on an 18-4 run after we were up 25-22. So I thought we closed the first half poorly. Thought we opened the second half really ready to go. We put Reese in there. For whatever reason, I'd only gotten him just over 3 minutes in the first half, which I didn't like. He's been a great kid. I cannot say enough about Reese's character as a senior this year. So we thought he could give us a lift. He did. We were good early in the second half with them in there. Nothing against anybody else, but I wanted to give him a shot, and I thought he'd played well in those 3 minutes, and they were playing small. We knew they would start Riley, so we started Reese. That's a better matchup for him. And then the start to the overtime, we gave up that 3 out of the gate. I didn't think we needed to help. We did, and that's a tough one. And then they scored the second time, and all of a sudden, it just kind of built up. I thought we answered a little bit there to cut it. I think we cut it from 7 to 4 maybe. And just couldn't get the stops when we needed. So, I don't have an answer for why it didn't go well in overtime. I don't know if I'm even going to watch this game, to be honest with you. It was not one of our better games. I'm sure at some point in the next week. Maybe I'll sit down and watch it. I'm not watching it tonight. I can guarantee you that, though.
Our next question will come from Tyler Martin with Bama Central. Tyler, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Coach. Congrats on the great season. Just wanted to ask about the free throws, 11 to 25. Did you think that was a mental thing? What do you think was the issue with the free throw shooting tonight?
That's a good question. I mean, to me, free throws are always a mental thing. I mean, it's the same distance. There's zero variables in free throws other than the pressure you put on yourself mentally. I mean, I always tell our guys, turn yourself into a robot at the free throw line. It's the same thing. Do the same routine every time. So, yeah, why it became a mental thing, I don't know if some early misses by some guys made other guys start thinking about it. I don't have the answer to that. And it's disappointing because, if we make them, we win the game. And it hurts to lose a game knowing if you make free throws, you win. I mean, you look. I mean, obviously, we both shot 25 free throws. They made 20 and we made 11. So, you needed one more free throw in regulation to win it, but it's tough. I mean, it's the game of basketball. Got to make them, and we put a big point of emphasis on guys making them. I thought we had a lot of guys improve dramatically. Herb Jones is a great free throw shooter all year. He put a ton of time in all offseason, all year really in the gym. He's a good free throw shooter. Didn't happen to make them tonight, so nothing to hang his head about. I mean, it happens. It's sports, so. He wasn't the only one. I think we only had two guys shoot over 50%. I think, Primo and Petty, the only two guys that shot over 50%. And we've had guys that made them at a pretty high level all year. They just didn't make them tonight for whatever reason.
Tyler, thanks for your question. Next, we'll go to Steve Moulton with WZZN. Steve, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Coach. Steve Moulton, WZZN out of Huntsville. Congratulations on a fantastic year. I've got a couple, if I could. At the end of regulation, was Reese's shot the one that you were wanting? And then my second question to you, Coach, is ultimately, how are you going to remember this team?
I mean, Quinterly had 4 options, really 3. Herb took it out with that amount of time. It was going to 4, including himself. I mean, if he had the open 3 himself, he could have taken it. He's made great decisions for us all year. I think Quinterly's, he's been an unbelievable point guard. He was great for us. I mean, he led us in scoring tonight. He was good. He found the right guy. Reese has had a penchant for hitting big shots. I mean, I kind of made the statement before. I mean, we looked at 12 games last year. I think 11 of them were 1 or 2 possession games. We threw that Kentucky game in. We looked at the last 6 minutes of all those games, and Reese had been one of the guys making big shots at the end of close games for us last year. I think he's got it in him. There's a reason he was in the game at the end. He hit another big shot. He hit big shot. He was 5 of 7 from 3 coming into the, in the tournament games. So he ends up, what did he go, 1 of 2? He ends up 6 of 9 from 3 in the NCAA tournament. So the biggest games of the year for him, he showed up big. Really proud of him. Proud of his character, proud of everything he's become. And, I'm glad he hit the 3. But, it was either Petty, Keon Ellis, or Reese were kind of JQ's 3 options there, and he found the right guy. And then how will I remember this team? I remember it as a team that changed the entire culture of Alabama basketball. Expectation levels are drastically different. Recruiting's different. People want to come here and play for Alabama basketball. People think about Alabama basketball way different. I told our guys, I'm going to be talking about this team for the next 30 years I'm coaching. This is an unbelievable team with a bunch of high-character kids that stepped up to the challenge and changed the entire narrative of Alabama basketball. Those 3 seniors from the state of Alabama, they're going to go down in Alabama basketball history. Petty, Jones, and Reese, couldn't be more proud of them. Then, I already talked about the other 2 seniors that were included with those 2. So that's how I'm going to remember them. Best team I've coached. I mean, I had some tough, hard-nosed. I love my Buffalo teams, but this team was tough, hard-nosed with a lot of talent. 5th in the country. Pretty good. So proud of them. Wish I was still coaching them for another week or week and a half, whatever it would have been, but it wasn't meant to be.
Time for a couple of final questions. Next, we'll go to Scott Griffin. Scott, you can unmute yourself. Please share where you're from and ask your question.
Scott Griffin, ABC 3340. Nate, it's weird. It's hard to put a finger on this thing because I don't think you guys were rushed necessarily, just not relaxed maybe or something. Even in the runs, it just didn't. There wasn't a flow or something. Is that the feeling you got?
I mean, I don't think it helped with Herb's foul trouble out of the gate. We kind of got out of the flow a little bit. We relied a lot on him. Offense runs through him. 2 charges in the first 2 possessions on offense kind of took him out of rhythm a little bit. That may have been it. They did a good job. I mean, you look at our assist numbers. We had 9 assists, 14 turnovers. That's not how we play. You look at how we play, we're usually the other way when we're good on offense. So, with the ball, maybe didn't move, but you got to give a lot of credit to UCLA, too. They had a good game plan. And, when you get down, you play a little different. But I think our guys showed a lot of character, a lot of resilience coming back. I mean, we had a lead. We had a lead at some point there in the second half. I think we were up 8 there in the first half, I remember, and then we were up 4 or 6 in the second half. So if I remember right, I don't know for sure, but look, man, you look at UCLA's tempo. They're one of the slowest teams in the country. They try to muck things up a little bit, make it different. We knew that they were going to do that. You can't speed them up on offense without gambling a lot on defense. We're not a gambling team. We were 3rd in the country in defensive efficiency coming into this game. We're a good defensive team. We just, they hit some tough shots. We didn't do as good a job as we needed to during parts of the game. And, I thought our coaches did a good job getting guys ready to play. Maybe I could have made a few different decisions personnel-wise. I mean, these games are not easy to win. They're hard games to win, and give our players a lot of credit, give our assistant coach a lot of credit. It wasn't meant to be tonight.
And finally, we'll go to Cecil Hurt. Cecil, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
My question got asked. Somebody else can have the last one.
Okay, thank you for that, Cecil. Finally, we'll go to Carter Hill with the 5th quarter. Carter, you can unmute yourself to ask your question.
Yeah, Coach, Carter Hill with 5th quarter. Congratulations on a fantastic season. You talked about it in your opener a little bit about remembering this feeling. How much fuel does this give you all to be back on the stage next season? And back to the shot at the end of regulation, did you anticipate UCLA to foul you all in the inbound?
Yeah, I was thinking they might try to foul us. I don't know what his philosophy is on that, but glad he didn't foul us, obviously. Then I'm sorry, what was the first part of the question again? Apologize, Carter.
No, you're good. You had talked about this feeling in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remembering this feeling in the opener. How much fuel does this give you all to get back on the stage this next season?
Look, we got some really talented players that be back next year. Cornerly, Shackelford, Primo. Juwan Gary's been big for us. I mean, you kind of go down the list. I mean, Keon Ellis was huge for us late in the year. There's a lot of guys that, we had kids sitting out in Chiku. There's guys that played well. We've got some really big-time recruits coming in. I think, the future of Alabama basketball is in a great spot. I would hope, as a coach, it's going to motivate me. We got to figure out what to do better. There's obviously stuff I could have done better in this game, and I want to figure it out. So at some point, I'll watch the game as a staff. We'll go down and evaluate it once I get to that point when I'm ready to watch it. But, we can do better. I thought we made drastic improvements from year 1 to year 2. We need to make more improvements from year 2 to year 3. We're going to miss these seniors in a huge way. I mean, they're great. I mean, Petty and Herb, Reese, Bruner, some of maybe 4 best senior group in a long time in Alabama basketball history. So we're going to miss them a lot. But, yeah, I hope losing motivates those guys that are returning. Some of them didn't play very well. But it's sports, and, in sports, sometimes you need a little motivation in the offseason. Hopefully it gives it to them. I told them not to hang their heads, but I'm sure that knowing these guys, they're very competitive. They want to get better, and they'll use it for motivation, I'm sure, as the coaching staff will.
Coach, best of luck going forward. Thanks for your time here tonight and throughout the tournament, and congratulations again on a tremendous season.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for your coverage this year.